The 2025 NHL trade deadline is fast approaching. It's Friday. Have the Leafs made a trade? Not yet, but they have made a signing. The Toronto Maple Leafs have signed forward Borya Valis out of the WHL from the Prince George Cougars to a 3-year entry-level contract. And I'm very excited for this video in particular because it kicks off something that I think is going to be a very big deal. If you've been paying attention to what we've been doing on the SDPN YouTube channel, and I definitely think you should, especially this week leading into the trade deadline, you'll know that we have been using OHL highlights for a while from the Ontario Hockey League. We have a weekly video series called Oh Wow, where we highlight the best from around the OHL over the past week. Well, just in time for this signing, the Leafs signing a player out of the WHL, we have an agreement with the WHL as well. So in this video, I'm going to be able to show you WHL highlights, specifically those of new Leaf signing Borya Valis. So instead of just hearing me tell you about, hey, this player's kind of neat, he could do this, he could do that, I'm just going to show you. A massive, massive thank you to the Western Hockey League for teaming up with us on this and helping us get this footage. So, let's get to know Borya Valis. Borya Valis has played a ton of WHL hockey. 4 seasons split between the Regina Pats and the Prince George Cougars. Over those 4 seasons, he's played 236 career WHL games. After all that time in junior, Valis is now 20 years old. In early April, he'll be 21. And this season, he's knocking it out of the park, all career highs. He's got 29 goals so far this season. He had 26 last year between 2 teams. He's got 44 assists this season, which matches last year's total split between 2 teams, but in fewer games. And he's already got 73 points this season, passing last year's total of 70. Again, in fewer games. Valis is a fun story because the only reason the Leafs were able to sign him is because he was undrafted. Obviously, they just signed him and he's 20 years old. But did you know Valis was also undrafted in the WHL? Despite going undrafted in the WHL, Valis has played nearly 250 games in that league, which is rare. It's a difficult thing to do. The Los Angeles, California native is 6'2", 192 pounds, so he's pretty tall. He is a right winger who shoots right, and the Leafs have some of those, Mitch Marner, William Nylander, but every year the Leafs are looking for guys to fill out that bottom 6. Could Valis throw his hat in the ring to fill out one of those spots? One of the things I noticed with Valis and watching his WHL highlights is there's a couple goals that he goes to a lot. One of them, I'm fascinated to see if he's able to repeat and do over and over and over again at the pro level. And that is, he beats guys wide, drops the shoulder, and just powers his way to the net.
Here comes Valis. Can he turn it up for the Cougars? Valis carrying to goal. Nice play. To the goal. He scores!
It's one thing doing it against major junior players, and those guys are tough as well, and they're big, especially in the dub. But it's another doing it against grown men who are professional athletes and have been doing this for a while. Then there are the types of goals that Valis scores that I'm gonna call a little more repeatable, and they're the kind of goals I like. You know that. What have I wanted the Leafs to do for a long time? What have I wanted the Leafs to do since Craig Berube became their head coach? What has Craig Berube wanted the Leafs to do since he became their head coach? Go to the net! And that's exactly what Borya Valis does.
Height trying to slide it ahead. That's out of the reach of Valis. Height, though, will get it back left wing. Here he comes. Height, Parasek, fires the Valis, rebound, scores! Team was watching the game in Langley at the post-game meal. Here's Vaughn, walks in, Carves, one-timer save, Edmonton. It's loose for Valis, he scores! Borya Valis with a wide-open cage, and the Cougars regain the 2-goal lead.
Whether he's driving to the net or he's standing in front to bang one home, Borya Valis goes to the net. That is the sort of thing that earns you WHL games played, even though you haven't been drafted by a WHL team. That is the sort of thing that gets you 230, 240, 250 games played in the WHL. That is the sort of thing that earns you the attention of NHL scouts and the sort of thing that earns you an NHL contract, which is what Valis got here. But with Valis, it's not just about driving the net. He's also got a sneaky shot.
He lost the handle. Here comes Cohen Zemer. Zemer up the right wing side. Gets by a Silvertip into the offensive zone. Look at Zemer to Valis. He scores! Saucer at cross ice to Arseny Anisimov. Anisimov will drop it off for Valis. Valis up the middle into the attacking zone. He fires and scores! Can't stop, won't stop. The Cougars score another. It's 7-1.
Well, he opened the scoring, and now he gets the 7th PG goal. He is Borya Valis.
He's got good hands in tight, and something that's definitely going to help Valis as he graduates from the WHL and Major Junior to pro hockey, whether it be with the Leafs or more likely the Toronto Marlies. He can kill penalties.
Tough as they come. Back comes Emmett Finney. His pass taken away by Borya Valis. Here it comes, short-handed. Valis, great move, and he scores! And the Cougars are back within 2.
Short-handed, unassisted, Borya Valis delivering.
Valis is currently third in scoring on the Prince George Cougars behind Tarek Parashak, who was just picked 17th overall in 2024 by the Washington Capitals, and Riley Height, a player selected in the second round of 2023 by the Minnesota Wild, 64th overall. So the only guys on the Cougars with more points than Valis are a first and a second round pick. And those aren't the only good players that Valis has played with in his WHL career, because in fact, a couple years ago during Connor Bedard's draft year, Valis spent a decent amount of time playing with him on the Regina Pats. On that Regina Pats team, a couple years ago, the 2022-23 season, Valis was 5th on that team in scoring, behind Connor Bedard, who went 1st overall, Alexander Suzdalev, who is a 3rd-round pick of the Washington Capitals, Tanner Howe, who's a 2nd-round pick of the Pittsburgh Penguins, and Stanislav Zvozil, who is a 3rd-round pick of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Again, those are the only guys who were ahead of Valis. At minimum, this is a player any NHL team should be having a gander at. But there's definitely potential that with Borya Valis, the Leafs might have something here.
Cardinals on the left point, to the right point, Valis walks in, holds, shoots, and scores! Borya Valis cashes in on the man advantage, and the game's tied at 1.
24th goal of the season for Borya Valis. It took only 14 seconds of power play time.
So, what do you think? Did you learn a little bit about Borya Valis? How did you feel about having highlights in this video? Oh, it made me feel good. Thank you to the WHL, and thank you to the OHL, and I think lots of teams and leagues should let us do this. What do you think? Leave a comment in the comment box down below. But for now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it, because we're going to have all kinds of trade deadline stuff on this channel and also on the SDPN YouTube channel. Tell all your friends, Borya Valis is a Leaf!